Hi, ladies. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm excited to be connected with you to help provide the answers you've been looking for and solutions, and most of all, hope when it comes to the world of hormones. So let's get started. Please grab a pen and paper if you haven't already. You'll want to take notes, I promise. And today we're going to be talking about why balancing those hormones is super important. It's really the key to everything and how to do it so you can get relief quickly and easily long term. The goals are pretty simple. Number one, make sure that the connections between your symptoms and your hormones you can understand. In other words, know what's causing what and why. And number two, get information that is pertinent to you and what you're going through and what to do about it. This is going to give you hope. It's going to give you answers. It's going to give you a peace of mind and understanding. And once you know that, you can take a targeted approach to fixing it all very quickly and correctly from the start. So there's no more guessing, no more wondering if it's going to work. I have a feeling that you're like me and you don't want hot flashes. You don't want chin whiskers. You don't want fatigue, memory loss, joint pain, or all the extra weight hanging around your waist. Basically, you want to feel good and confident mentally and physically and look like you've slept. Is that too much to ask, right? You want to look refreshed and have a bounce in your step again, just for starters. I don't think it's too much to ask at all. This is how my clients describe all of the hormonal stuff that comes along with aging. They say, it's like something took me over when I hit a certain age. And I can tell you exactly when. Now, I just don't feel or look like I should for my age, and I'm tired of it. I just want to feel like myself again. And that's really what it comes down to. Right now, I may feel like there's a storm happening in your body, from stubborn belly fat to painful joints, and you don't know where to start to feel better. That's real. It's like a sinking ship, and you first don't know the first thing about where the holes are in the ship. And two, you don't have the tools or the know-how to plug up the holes so you can feel like yourself again and truly love the skin you're in. And this is how I felt at the young age of 20. I was on that sinking ship. But right now, I love my life. I have two amazing daughters. I'm so lucky also to have a partner who owns a health center and biohacks the heck out of life. And I can geek out with him. I'm able to do what I love, help women get their lives back by providing them the true missing link to optimal health, hormonal bliss. And it sounds like a dream, doesn't it? But at 20 years old, I didn't think I had this type of future ahead of me. I was falling apart fast. Scary because it didn't make much sense. Hey, I was young and I was crazy healthy, so I thought. I was a gymnast training for the Olympics, for goodness sake. I got my first medal at the age of 7, so I was very serious about the sport. And that all sounds good and dandy, but the reality was I didn't feel good and I was yo-yo dieting all the time. As a gymnast, there are some really strict rules, such as you can't have more than 5 grams of fat per day and you're weighed all the time. So I was constantly trying all these different diets from vegan to paleo to stay within the weight requirements. And I worked out constantly, like nonstop. I was in major burnout mode, so my hormones went completely flat and stopped producing, which is what happens in menopause. I had brain fog, hair loss, fatigue, mood swings. Oh my gosh, the list goes on. Depression. I had rashes. I was told I couldn't have children. So many things. And I had to figure it out. Nobody was going to tell me that I was going to suffer with whatever this was. And they sure as heck weren't going to decide whether I was going to have children or not because I'm stubborn. I'm an Aries. And I'm a woman. We don't quit, right? We work harder when our backs are against the wall and defy all odds when it matters, especially when it comes to our children. And I was a trained gymnast. We are a bit driven and nuts, I'll admit it, tumbling on sprained ankles and such, and we just keep going. So, how to get my life and my body back? Well, I did my own research and I went to a nutritionist to figure out what the heck was going on with my body because I needed answers, much like you're probably feeling the same. She tested my hormones and adrenals and said, you have the hormones of a 50-year-old woman. Translation, honey, you are clinically menopausal. Well, that answered why I was having all the unwanted symptoms. The good news is that after following her guidance, I was able to balance my hormones with natural remedies and feel like myself again. My body got stronger, not weaker. She gave me the hope and hand holding that I personally needed to heal and recover. And as I started on this new road, I was feeling so good that I got my master's degree in nutrition. I became a certified nutritionist and I wrote and published 2 books. I was able to get my life and body back and do and accomplish what I was here to do. I had the energy to create the life that I could be proud of. It was a complete game changer. So for the last 25 years, I've helped thousands of women just get out of surviving to thriving by balancing their hormones. They really are the missing link. And right now, this might be you, surviving it all with a bit of humor and vodka and the OJ or wine, which goes a long way. It's all good. Don't beat yourself up. Don't feel guilty. Like I said, I've been there, and I'm here to tell you that the answer is all hormones. They're in control. You can, however, get back in the driver's seat once you know which hormones are causing all the havoc. But I understand that right now it feels like that storm of annoyances, and you just don't know where to begin. I was there, and I get it. I really do. I love this saying on this slide because this is our day-to-day reality. Hey, we call it like it is. We've all been there where we're just feeling incredibly irritated and annoyed by everything, right? Even something as small as how our socks are feeling on our feet that day, or if, God forbid, they have a new hole in them to set us off. And overall, we tend to think of these bouts of mood swings as just, part of the roller coaster of aging we're on, along with all the other hormonal symptoms from hot flashes to, yes, the dreaded chin whiskers. They just become an annoying part of life that we think that we have to deal with, and they'll eventually go away when we hit a certain age. The reality is, if we aren't happy in our bodies right now, and we can't remember the last time we were, and we aren't really sure what to do about it, that's the reality. And you may have gone to the doctor and are on hormone replacement therapy, or maybe you've read about the latest remedy at the health food store to combat the symptoms you're having, and you decided to give it a whirl. And it worked for a short while, but maybe it didn't last or didn't work at all. And after all this effort, which is really frustrating and tiring, we never really get to the point where we are happy and feel like ourselves in our skin. The reason is because we aren't addressing all, capital ALL, of the hormones at play and what controls them. We're just trying to survive the day with coffee, in the morning, and maybe a good drink in the evening, something that will cool us off a little bit, maybe the ice packs in our bra, something. We're just trying to get through the day. What are hormones anyways? My clients always ask that. So you're talking about hormones, but what are they really? Simply put, they're messengers. You can think of the hormonal system as the body's physiological internet, a web of signals that communicate with all the other systems in your body. They affect your immunity, your metabolism, your reproduction, and so much more. So you can try every diet and exercise routine, but if your hormones have completely flatlined, like mine did, your weight is not going to go anywhere soon. I guarantee it. And there are 3 stages of hormones that we go through as we age. The first stage is called premenopause, which starts taking effect in our 20s and 30s. So we should experience fairly regular menstrual cycles with balanced estrogen and progesterone production. But increasingly, younger females are over-exercising under a lot of stress, crash dieting, and using birth control pills for everything from acne to painful periods to pregnancy prevention. So what's happening is they aren't ovulating regularly. The result is symptoms such as, really bad PMS and infertility for starters, polycystic ovarian syndrome, fibroids, endometriosis. All these things drive them to act like the scene on the slide where they're all over the place. One minute they're saying, I'm hungry, I'm tired, leave me alone. And then the next minute they're saying, well, can you come here? And I think I want pancakes. I should probably go do some cardio. Oh, I'm feeling bloated. Do you still love me when I act like this? it's just a roller coaster. And heck, you may be feeling all of this right now at your current age, which is the nature of having hormones that are really low. The second hormonal stage we're so excited to experience, said no woman ever, happens during our 40s called perimenopause. It's a whole new world of symptoms that creep up because of the severe progesterone and estrogen fluctuations. So all of a sudden you have a new friend, the stubborn belly fat, along with these erratic menstrual cycles. The hot flashes come in, the mood swings like the slides are available every 10 minutes, and insomnia and low libido are taking you on this horrible roller coaster ride where things are just not feeling quite right anymore. You just don't feel good anymore. This is when we start saying, okay, I'm too young for this crap, and start to question what's really going on. The serious quest to fix it all usually begins in this age. It's the race against time where you're feeling too old, too fast, and honestly, you're getting a little worried about it. The third stage is menopause. It is when the menopause fairy arrives, which is what I call her, because she steals your sleep, your cute figure that you had 20 years ago, your patience, your eyesight, and leaves you with a mustache and a muffin top. So annoying. So as the ovaries take their final bow, meaning they're no longer the main producers of your hormonal supply, the ovulation ends because you no longer need to be preparing to have a baby, and menopause begins. Your falling levels of estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone all at the same time trigger unexpected symptoms that will surprise you. Women all of a sudden say, I have all these symptoms and they're really horrible because you have less hormones to go around. These hormones also cannot protect you health of your breasts, your bones, your skin, your brain, and your heart. Hormones aren't just to correct hot flashes and belly fat. They are the foundation of all those different things that I just labeled. How do you know you're in menopause? Women say, oh, I don't have a period, I'm 55. Well, 12 months without a period, occurring around the age of about 51, says that you are in menopause. You have to go a full year without bleeding in order for you to be in menopause. And acute and prolonged stress can throw women in their 30s into early menopause. Or if they've had a hysterectomy or undergone chemotherapy, that can also throw someone into menopause. Now is the time of life where keeping your hormones functioning and producing at optimal levels is imperative for anti-aging and our quality of life. Like I said, from bone health to heart health to brain health, we want all these aspects at 100% so we can enjoy our lives all the way to the end, right? And hormones control the entire show. The entire show. Want to make sure we get those in line. This is the time we start also having wishful thinking. I mean, with everything that we go through, would it be too much to ask that hot flashes could instantly melt the fat right off our hips at the same time? I mean, come on, wouldn't that be amazing? We've been talking about hormones as a whole, but now I want to switch gears and talk about what hormones are causing the specific symptoms that you are experiencing so that you know the signs to look for when they're out of balance. Then you're going to know the best ways to go about getting relief and results. Let's start with testosterone. True or false? If Joan Rivers had adequate levels of testosterone, she wouldn't have needed any facelifts. This is true, capital true. If you are low in testosterone, no amount of anti-aging cream is going to ever work long term. This whole thing is an inside job. So the benefits of testosterone are amazing. Skin tightener, it's a memory booster, it enhances your mood, muscle and bone builder, it maintains healthy cholesterol, it enhances our sex drive, and it burns fat. While testosterone is generally considered a male hormone, as we hear, it's also produced in a woman's ovaries because you need it too, as all of those symptoms I just listed. You know, you want the antidote, basically. You want tighter skin, you want memory, you want a better mood, you want to build muscle. Testosterone rapidly declines during menopause, along with estrogen and progesterone, which is what I mentioned before. And nobody ever talks about testosterone as a need for women, but it's so essential. You know, again, it doesn't just help mitigate hot flashes and cool us down, but it also prevents us from experiencing things like flabby underarms that we are so annoyed by. And it keeps us in fat burning mode, like I said, instead of fat storage mode. So if your testosterone's low and you're going to the gym and working out, you're not burning fat. this very frustrating cycle. You get your testosterone up, then the gym will work for you. It also prevents our bones from becoming brittle and breaking. Testosterone is very important for bone health and keeping them strong. And it's also an incredible energy boost every single day to help us feel young and vital. We definitely need more energy. There are 4 things that deplete testosterone: skipping meals, or if you have a history of dieting. So going long stretches without eating, sometimes we do that during dieting, actually cause your levels of testosterone to plummet. Therefore, you turn your fat burning potential completely off by skipping meals or dieting. Your body needs those calories to make testosterone. All this calorie cutting and yo-yo dieting is screwing up your testosterone levels. If it was in check, you wouldn't have to do the diet in the first place. So if you had healthy testosterone levels, you don't have to diet. Imagine that. You'd actually be burning the fat off your body. Number 2 is lack of sleep. Sleeping less than 7 hours can throw your circadian rhythm off. Your testosterone levels should normally be high in the morning after a really good night's sleep, so you have energy for the day and you don't need coffee. So if you're waking up tired and you need coffee or tea, then your testosterone is guaranteed low. Number 3 is over-exercising. If you overtrain, meaning you don't allow your body to recuperate adequately between sessions at the gym while you're there. For example, you do an exercise and then the recuperate part is you rest for 1 to 5 minutes and breathe and stretch. Then you do the exercise again. The other over-exercising piece is you exercise every day and you don't take a break in between. You don't take 1 day on, 1 day off, etc. You're over-exercising if you exercise every single day. The working out makes your testosterone plunge by 40%. 40%. All the exercise is not helping you. Remember my story? This is exactly what happened to me. And if you're going to be exercising that much, I can help you figure out exactly what exercises are right for your body so that you go to the gym and actually get the results that you want. So if you're doing 100 sit-ups or spending an hour or whatever, not getting results, probably not doing the right exercise for your body either. Yes, 40%, but not allowing time and space for adequate recovery. You can find new ways to recover. You can work out, like I said, every other day. You can do yoga on the opposite days that you work out, or simply go for a nice walk instead of a run. You will oddly notice that you have more energy, less pain, and your weight will come down a lot easier. I guarantee it. It's not trying so hard. Number 4 is age. Testosterone levels begin to plummet around the age of 30. So by the time you hit 50, you're really deficient. It's 20 years. Your metabolism is noticeably slower and you can't eat what you used to. And I know that sounds familiar. If you have had your ovaries removed, this is number 5, then your testosterone stores are probably non-existent because your ovaries help to produce healthy amounts of testosterone. Testosterone depletion results are severe hot flashes, depression, low mood, low energy. You have the belly fat, you can't build muscle, you have the flabby arms and butt, you don't have libido. Your blood pressure can also be high because testosterone helps to take care of the heart, so balances cholesterol and blood pressure. There are so many reasons why you want to get that checked so that you could be in optimal shape, because it's obviously contributing to all these other symptoms that you could be having. Now let's talk about estrogen. It's a pretty slide, isn't it, with the big angel wings. Estrogen has been labeled the angel of life, and I just think that that's beautiful. And it's labeled that because it makes cells grow. It develops the uterus and the breasts and pregnancy and the egg within the ovary. It provides life. It also helps in fighting depression because it boosts our serotonin levels. And this boost improves our quality of sleep. Therefore, if you have healthy sources of estrogen, you're sleeping and you're happy. Imagine that. Estrogen also increases your GABA, a neurotransmitter that acts as a calm in a storm on those really, really stressful days. Boy, we sure need that sometimes, right? Just a grounding rod. It's also responsible for a good mood because it increases the level of endorphins that help us feel good, like when you go to the gym, same type of thing. When estrogen levels go down, the feeling of sadness and hopelessness just creep in, find their way in. So estrogen, again, is necessary for us to be stress-free and a lot happier. Now, when it comes to bone health, think of estrogen as what keeps the outside of the bone strong, and testosterone is what keeps the inside of the bone strong and keeps them from breaking. You can't just take estrogen for bones, which is what we're told. Just take birth control pills for bones, even though, again, that's what the mainstream says. But it's kind of like I like the analogy, it's kind of like having a pillowcase where the outside of the bone is the pillowcase and you don't have a fluffy feather interior. So it's not a functioning pillow. You want to have estrogen on the outside, the pillowcase, and then you want to have testosterone in the middle, all the fluffy feathers. So it's a working bone and also a working pillow. So as the level of estrogen and testosterone decline together, we develop some weak, brittle bones. And we start taking all this calcium thinking, oh, we're getting older, we have to take more calcium. When it's a hormone deficiency issue, and I really want to drive that home, it's so important because when you take too much calcium, you're going to leach mineral out of the bone and make it worse. So you have to be really careful with that. On a day-to-day basis, you would recognize low estrogen levels as showing up when you experience painful joints. A lot of women older, they have a lot of pain in their body, which can simply just be low estrogen, depression, and being forgetful. And a couple of other low-level signs of estrogen are blood sugar crashes and, believe it or not, vertigo. So the sudden drops in estrogen around a menstrual cycle, if you're still menstruating, will exacerbate both of these conditions. Okay, true or false? You know you're low in estrogen when you draw a sentence mid-blank. This is true, or draw a blank mid-sentence. This is true. If you've ever been having a conversation with someone and your mind goes blank, or you just had what you said and what you're going to explain and go through, and then it just goes, it's gone. That's an estrogen deficiency sign. So you're not going into Alzheimer's or dementia or anything. It's just estrogen. So we blame it on aging, but it can be fixed. And when estrogen is low, you lose your hair. That's a big complaint I hear among women. Their hair is thinning and falling out. It occurs around the age of 40, and they start to notice that it's just less full. It's shedding a lot more. So estrogen ensures that the hair is really thick and it's full and you have adequate hair growth. We want to make sure we have enough of that, or yes, you'll be continually losing hair all the time. True or false? Low estrogen levels are linked to achy joints and injuries, especially to your shoulders, your low back, your knees. And that just about covers the whole body, doesn't it? And this is true. The achy joints that you feel are not just from getting older, but are an estrogen deficiency. The lower estrogen levels associated with menopause increase the risk of osteoarthritis in women over 50, resulting in joint pain. And it can happen sooner because we start losing our hormone supply, as I mentioned, at 30 years old. And another factor of joint pain in menopause is dehydration. When the body is too dehydrated, then uric acid, basically gout, can accumulate, and that triggers inflammation in the joints, which triggers more pain. So because estrogen is a key player in that fluid regulation, it also plays a role in your dehydration levels. Putting it all together, when you have low estrogen, you're dehydrated and you're in pain. Plain and simple. You see, when your estrogen levels drop, so does the body's ability to hold on to the fluid. Other symptoms of low estrogen that show up are hot flashes, night sweats. You can get heart palpitations, vaginal dryness, dry eyes, dry skin. So when estrogen is low, you're dehydrated, right? So everything just dries up. There just isn't enough estrogen to help with all that. Once you implement the right form of estrogen, there are 3 different forms, then everything will start to feel better. You won't have dry eyes, dry skin. You won't have the vaginal dryness and painful intercourse. It's amazing. It's like magic. Oh gosh, chin whiskers, just what every woman wants. Again, said no one ever, ever, ever. There are all kinds of delightful changes that occur as we age, right? And facial hair seems to be one of them. So let's talk about that. The growth of the facial hair on the upper lip and chin is caused by an increase in testosterone in relation to estrogen. So those 2 hormones have to be balanced. And how does it happen? When you eat too many refined carbohydrates, such as sweet treats, bread, and pasta, which is what we're all craving because the hormones are low, your body produces more insulin when you eat those types of foods. High insulin equals high testosterone, which means more facial hair. Again, putting it together, the more sugar you eat, the hairier you get. That's very simple. Another symptom is the oh so lovely adult acne and the thinning of hair on your head. Joy. Just to note, if you were on birth control pills even years ago, they also now contribute to facial hair growth because they increase the androgen slash testosterone levels. So it's not just you're aging, but maybe you took birth control pills when you were younger. That's still in your body. It's going to contribute. DHEA is another hormone that I want to touch base on because it goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about. It's made by the adrenals, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. And it produces healthy levels of estrogen and testosterone, which is vital, as we've discussed so far, when you have the right amount of those two hormones. Your DHEA drops by 80% as we age. That means it takes the estrogen and testosterone down with it. So as you age, the DHEA goes down, the estrogen goes down, the testosterone goes down. It's all being pulled down. It's just another cause of depleted hormone output that is causing your day-to-day symptoms. Having enough DHEA protects against insulin resistance. In English, this means that if you had enough DHEA, it would help to stop the hair growth on your face, along with cutting out the breads, sugars, and pastas. Make sense? Now for my favorite hormone. And yes, if progesterone had a voice, it would sing the Flash Dance movie song, the What a Feeling. And when I saw this picture, it took me back to the movie Flashdance. How could it not? It is the best representation of how you'd feel if you had healthy progesterone levels. Progesterone, for starters, not only helps you to be in this amazing mood like this woman, it is your built-in craving control. Hallelujah, right? This is kind of a wake-up call that sugar and carb cravings are a hormone thing, not a willpower thing. Progesterone stops cravings in their track. It's an antidepressant. It's an anti-anxiety. It shrinks belly fat, and it helps us sleep like a baby and help us to wake up feeling refreshed. And it's also, if there's more, that's not all. It's a diuretic. So we aren't puffy and bloated. So if you're feeling puffy and bloated and retaining water, this means that your estrogen is too high and your progesterone is too low. It also relieves constipation. I talk about poop a lot, and this is very important. If you have enough progesterone, you're going to poop. So this is very common in women to only have one bowel movement a day or, one every few days. Ladies, your goal is 2 to 3 a day. That is healthy. So low progesterone causes your colon to slow down, and the longer food waste remains in your colon, the drier it gets. So stool tends to be drier when estrogen and progesterone levels are low, and you can't move it out. It's just that simple. And progesterone gets sucked out of us when we have children, when we stress out, and as we age. Those are the three main ways that we lose progesterone, and we need it more and more. As you can tell, it helps us with a lot of things. We need so much more progesterone than estrogen. The problem is that this can be really hard to achieve because the environment in which we live is saturated with what's called xenoestrogens. These are chemicals that mimic estrogen in the body. And xeno means foreign because they come from outside the body. There are a few places where xenoestrogens are found, and I want to go through them so you can start removing them from your life. It'd be super easy. The first one is fragrances. This is a really big one. Think about what you use on a day-to-day basis that's scented. Laundry detergent, shampoo, shaving cream, your hand lotion, your soaps. Cleaners have fragrances now. Perfume, candles, air fresheners that you plug in, Febreze, scented skincare. Now, I'm not saying take all these amazing scents out of your life, but to look at which items you can get that are scented with essential oils instead of the toxic synthetic scents. On the back of a label, you know if it's toxic if it doesn't tell you what type of fragrance it is. The label just says fragrance. It should say essential oil of lemon, something like that. So you know it's not synthetic. The next one is mercury in fish. Basically, it's a metal that acts like a toxic estrogen, which I cannot believe. So eat low mercury fish, sardines, mackerel, salmon. Those are really your best options for fish. And BPA, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard about, found in many plastic water bottles. So it's time to ditch the water bottles, get stainless steel, get glass. You don't want this. It's not worth these toxic estrogens running around your body that create cysts, endometriosis, fibroids, cancers, weight gain, low thyroid. You don't want any of that. The other thing are parabens found in the skincare products that you're looking at. Maybe you're, on your counter looking at these things or in the store. So they disrupt your hormones as well. So make sure there aren't any parabens. A lot of companies now put paraben free on the front of their bottle so you don't have to look at the back. The other thing is when you eat non-organic meats, eggs, and dairy, as you probably know, our livestock is injected with estrogen to fatten them up and cut off their metabolism. Sounds familiar. We fatten up, but we have no metabolism. These should all be purchased organic. What they eat and look like, we eat, we consume, we look like. The last thing is soy. Just make sure if you have soy that it's organic. It is estrogenic, but it can provide some healthy forms of estrogen if it's in the organic form. Environmental estrogens start taking the place of our healthy estrogen, causing real problems, like I said, like cancer. So 99.9% of the time, you're low in healthy estrogen and high in toxic estrogen, which definitely shows up as migraines, fat gain in your hips and your thighs, slow metabolism, stubborn belly fat, breast cancer, like I said, fibroids, cysts, because at this point, the toxic estrogen has the lid on the healthy estrogen and progesterone production, so they can't work. The estrogen is winning. So all those beautiful benefits that healthy estrogen and progesterone give us, we're not getting access to because the toxic estrogen is taking its place. So if you do a hormone test and your estrogen levels are low, but you have a lot of symptoms of this estrogen dominance that I'm going through, we would strengthen your good supply of estrogen and then detox out the bad and the environmental stuff at the same time. My suggestion right now is to work on removing the xenoestrogens from your life, just one cupboard at a time or one product at a time, whatever you can handle. So just change your deodorant or change your lotion or just start buying organic meat, visit your farmer's market one step at a time. It's going to make a big difference. It's going to lighten the chemical load. It's worth it. If you can't do it all, it's fine. Every little bit, it does count, I promise. Last but not least, the puppet master of all the hormones are the adrenal glands. This is the menopause backup organ, which is what I call them. I always ask if you've had a thinner waist before you were the age of 50, and then you hit 50, or maybe you were noticing the expanding of your waist in your 40s, and it was hollow belly fat. The puppet master of all your hormones, the adrenals, are to blame. The adrenals are shaped like little walnuts, and they sit right on top of your kidneys. And they're what handle stress for us, so we don't collapse every time we're against something, whether it's big or small. When stress strikes us, cortisol spurts out from the adrenal glands. And cortisol not only manages our stress, but it keeps our immune defenses primed for battle against, anything may come your way. So have you ever been super stressed and overtired, and then you wake up feeling, ugh? Well, you all of a sudden have a cold or sore throat, right? It seems to all come together. This is what can happen. Also, you may have severe allergies. You might have asthma, even if it's since you were younger, chemical sensitivities, and susceptibility to everything that's going around. You just seem to catch it. With healthy cortisol adrenal production, your cortisol will rise in the morning, and it gives you that get up and go and feeling good, getting out the door without coffee. And then it naturally wanes at its lowest production, ready for sleep mode at night. When this normal pattern is interrupted by stress, when you overexercise, when you don't eat well, we find ourselves feeling that tired but wired all the time. And that's what makes us rely on the sugar and the caffeine just to keep going throughout the day. and then also wine to come down at night. And then sometimes a sleeping pill here or there just to make sure we get sleep. If that's not enough, the adrenals control all hormonal output. So if you're stressed out all the time, the adrenals will stop producing your fat burning, energizing hormones and make you go into fat storage mode. After all, your body literally feels like it's being chased by a lion all the time. And it doesn't necessarily feel like your want for fat burning is a priority, right? You're being chased by a lion. Its focus is to help you survive. We want to get out of that. So after a few years of this vicious cycle, the adrenal glands are extremely exhausted. Chronic fatigue sets in, a lot of pain, because you have this severe depletion in your hormones. It's terrible. But that's not all the adrenals do. As you age, the ovaries go from these beautiful, plump-looking grapes to shriveled raisins because they stop being the main producers of their hormones. You don't need them anymore. When this happens, the adrenals have to take over and they produce all of the hormones on their own. They don't have the help from the ovaries anymore. So if your adrenals are exhausted, then you have some major cravings, major hot flashes, and weight that doesn't budge. You also are going to experience pretty bad sleep and so on because all of your symptoms are magnified. When you're under stress, your symptoms are so much worse because your body's not producing the hormones that it needs to keep you looking good and feeling good. Your body's going to look and feel like it's breaking down a heck of a lot faster than it should when you're in this stuck survival, stress, fatigued adrenal mode. So in order to have happy hormones and therefore a happy life, the first step to fixing all of it is to take the correct kind of hormone and adrenal test. The correct kind. Always test first so you know exactly what's out of balance. No guessing. This way imbalances show up that are behind your most troublesome symptoms, and you can actually do something about it, which is very powerful. Good. And what do I mean by correct testing? There are two tests. There are saliva tests and there are blood tests. The most accurate and correct one is your saliva test. Saliva tests all of your hormones and the puppet master glands, the adrenals. Blood does not. And, saliva puts it all together, where when you go to the doctor for blood testing, it's all piecemealing things. And they may not test everything, and it's just kind of a mess. A blood test, what's another example? It's like getting a thyroid test at the doctor and them saying your thyroid is completely normal when they didn't even test all the necessary components of the gland to make an accurate assessment for you. So many women then leave the office feeling even more confused because they have all the thyroid imbalance symptoms, but the thyroid is normal. It doesn't make any sense. The saliva test I use is an at-home test kit. It's very simple. It takes 1 day to complete. You put your saliva into 4 different tubes throughout the day. The instructions are in the kit. And then you mail the kit out the next day. You just drop it off at your local UPS. And the shipping label is provided in the box. What's tested? Your estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone, your DHEA, and 4 cortisol readings throughout the day. So if you do the test, once I get the results, I will personally guide you on what to do to fix the imbalances with a natural approach, from herbs to vitamins to bioidentical hormones if needed. The goal is to strengthen your adrenals and to re-up your hormonal supply. You will not be on the natural protocol forever like you would be with synthetic hormone replacement. So we're getting your glands stronger, and that way they can do their job without any outside help. That is the main goal. Then after 90 days of the protocol, you'll retest. And then at this time, we're going to see where your hormones are and make sure that they are where they need to be before we stop the protocol. So you may need to lower the dose on something or stop something. Very simple, but we kind of course correct at 90 days. And then going forward after that 90 days, it's important to test your hormones 1 time a year. This is how you stay on top of them so that they don't make you fall off a cliff again. And I mean, having 100 symptoms and just not knowing where to begin. You can balance your weight with ease, you can keep energized, and you can overall stay symptom-free if you keep on top of your hormonal balance. Now, your hormonal supply is going to wane over time. The degree to how much is very different for everyone, depending on your lifestyle, your stress levels, and honestly, how depleted you were to begin with. So I personally do a test one time per year, and I give myself a reboot of certain nutrients if needed. And this keeps my brain and body really happy the rest of the year. It is the physical, basically, that I do for myself. It's great. And I think it should be the foundation of that for sure. A happier, healthier you is the most important overarching result of balancing your hormones. So get the body shape you want, get off the diet roller coaster, lose the weight with more effort or less effort, get rid of the hot flashes. It's kind of what I'm known for. I erase hot flashes and belly fat and regain joy in your life. That is ultimately it, right? That's what we want. So no matter where you are, no matter how good or bad things may seem at this moment, it is the perfect moment to say no more to the symptoms that have been causing your life misery. It's time. It's time to put yourself first and say no. Say no to what doesn't serve you and a big yes to what can serve you and what does, which is getting these in check and feeling amazing and like yourself again. Again, the goal is to strengthen your body's natural supply of these hormones so you can stay in optimal condition. It doesn't have to be hard. You can know what's going on and correct it and stay in that bliss of how you're feeling when these are in balance. As you age, you lose hormones. Stress depletes them too. So it's best again to do tests one time per year to keep them at healthy levels. And you want to keep your brain, your heart, your bones, your joints in healthy ranges, and not to mention your weight and cravings under control, right? So again, your foundation is these hormones. They are definitely the missing link. If we can reduce our stress levels, eat healthier, and take out the xenoestrogens, the hormone supply will stay where it needs to. You'll have a lot easier time with hormonal supply and support if you can work on those things. And obviously nobody's perfect, but just kind of a general overview of what you can be mindful of on your day-to-day. Before I end, there are some common questions that I want to address. And it's important if you have any other questions to let me know. You can definitely reach out to me. There's a button down below to do that. But some of the general questions are, first, I'm ready. How do I get a kit? This makes sense. It is the missing link. What do I do? So click the button below this video and you can set up a time to connect with me and I can share how you can get a kit depending on where you live. There are pickup locations and then also I can mail you out a kit as well. How long will it take for you to get results? This is a huge question. So usually after you send it off to the lab, it takes about 7 to 10 business days. And once I receive the results, I will contact you to set up a phone consultation to discuss what's present, what's going on, what to do, and how to get the remedies to fix all the imbalances. Now, fixing the imbalances, it's going to be really easy. The remedies that you need to find, you can jump on Amazon, go to your local store. It's not going to be hard, so don't worry about that. And again, it's short term. Some women ask, can I take the test if I'm on birth control pills? Yes, you can. You can take the test while you're on birth control pills. That's no problem. Or what if you've had a hysterectomy? You can still take the test, no problem. And then how long will I see results after I implement the protocol? This is probably the second biggest question that I get. I usually say it takes 90 days for the body to rebuild the hormonal supply completely, but you will start to notice your symptoms subsiding within the first 24 to 48 hours because you are pinpointing exactly what's going on. You're giving your body exactly what's looking for. So why wouldn't it respond? It's getting to the root of what's going on. And so remember, this is about getting your life and body back to its healthiest state and doing that for the long term. And hormonal balance is going to protect you from those, diseases of the Alzheimer's, the cancer on some level, and that their body just can be stronger and healthier and able to be resilient, to all these things, to be, in a state of balancing your weight to where it's not fluctuating all the time, to be able to have control over your cravings without having to basically be mean to yourself. I mean, it's so important. So keeping up on the health of your hormones keeps you in control of your health in the easier way. You can be healthier and stronger, again, with less effort. Get your hormones working for you instead of against you. When they're not there, you're struggling. When they're there, you feel amazing and life is good. You want to enjoy your life. It's seriously, it's time. It's time for you to be able to enjoy your life. You deserve it. Know that you do. So if you feel like you haven't been heard in general with the medical system or just, how they do all this hormone stuff from other practitioners and things just aren't right, you don't feel like yourself in your skin, then trust your intuition and let's work together to find the solution. So book a call with me just below this video and I will connect with you soon. And I'm so excited. I'm excited for you to be on this journey. I've been doing this 25 years and I can't imagine doing anything else. So I look forward to meeting you and thank you so much for spending the time to jump on this. I'll talk to you soon.